admitted that he was going to vote for Donald Trump. And I'm just,
That was
I
it.
can't, I can't share my life with somebody that's going to support that direction. I mean, this individual is a convicted felon, will say offensive remarks about women, about different ethnicities. And I find it highly offensive. How can this man lead our country when he's in a position of power and will openly insult different groups? It's very offensive.
And I believe that Kamala Harris is the leader that we need. And she gives us, you know, a seat at the table. And if you're not at the table, you're on the menu.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many people would have gone as far as to split with their significant other because of a political view. Do you regret
I,
your decision
no,
to leave?
no, I am a strong woman.
So there we had a young lady there. She's a strong woman, and she called off the wedding because her fiance aligned with Trump, and it wasn't something that she couldn't see herself going through with it based off of Trump's resume and history. So I'm gonna start with you first, Brown Sugar, and then we'll go to Biz, and then get everybody else involved.
I mean, if that's her decision, that's her decision. I mean, I can't really fault her for that. If you feel like you and your partner aren't aligning, based on, I mean, what she said. I mean, how he speaks down on women and how he speaks down on different cultures. If that's just her viewpoint, then I mean, hey, this is something. I mean, it's better to call off. Wait, did she get married yet, or were they okay? Yeah.
They
So I
called off
mean,
the wedding.
hey, at least they didn't waste money and go through all of that. So if that's the decision that she wanted to make, that's her business.
Okay, well, when it comes to you, let's just say you were in that position with
Mhm.
her. Do you think that that is important? Are you calling off? You guys are planning on the wedding is supposed to take place Valentine's Day of next year. You already sent out invitations, and then this election happens.
Um, yeah, I probably would.
You will call
Just
it off.
based on, yeah.
So, like, not even having a conversation about it to see
I
if
mean, I
there's.
would have the conversation just to see like where he stands. Like what's the reason behind his decision. But I mean, ultimately, I mean, the conversation could go either way, but I would definitely, it would raise some concerns just based on what she said.
You guys come to a conclusion together that this is the way that we want to go, then are you willing to go that direction? Or are you just, I'll
I
listen to you.
mean, I will listen, but if we have two different viewpoints, then ultimately, regardless of if invitations have been sent out, if we just have two different ways of thinking, it doesn't make anyone more right or more wrong. But if we, what's the point of coming together as a union if we just think two different ways? There's nothing wrong with that. And I would rather call something off before we get knee deep in a relationship or a marriage. Um, I would rather do that than move forward knowing that I'm uncomfortable with this person and they view how they view life. I
Uh,
don't think it's necessarily right or wrong.
I think that is interesting that they got to the point of an engagement before this was even an issue. So if this was never a problem as far as this woman's rights removal that the Democrats and the media has pushed, and then this magical issue comes up that's not real. This magical issue comes up, and now you're ready to walk away from an engagement. At this point, you are knee deep in it. You have a ring, you're planning the wedding, you're knee deep in it. So for this to be the only thing to come up for you to be able to walk away from it, that's
I mean,
that's
we
some
say it
that's
like
some
it's the
wild ass
right. I
shit.
mean, we talking about women's rights, and maybe they didn't discuss these things before they got married. Who knows? I'm not here to pick
Well,
apart
so
what their relationship was, but I mean, a lot of people don't have those necessary conversations. They really don't. Like, honestly, they don't. So maybe this is what brought that conversation or these topics out. I don't know what their
Well,
relationship looked like.
well, hold on, Luis. And I get it. I get it. The part that's confusing for me, because what the Democrats and what Harris primarily ran off of, and where a lot of women um, don't agree, where they do align with it all, is that the the woman's rights of them being able to choose to delete a baby or not. Right. That's solely what they ran off of, was that, and that Trump is bad. We have seen, and this is statistical fact, we have seen over the past 3-4 years deletions increase. So you can still go and get a deletion. So to say that you can, that rights are being removed from women, that's a flat out lie, because we see it. It is a fact. So
But
I
this is
think that
something that he's trying to put in place, though. We're not talking about three,
is
four
not
years
something that
ago.
he's trying to put in place.
We
Is
talking
not
about
something
something
that he's trying
moving
to put in
forward.
place. It's
one mic,
something
Not
that
on
one
the
mic.
federal level.
Hold on, one mic, y'all. One mic so they can hear us. So make sure we're not talking over each other.
yeah. So it's not something that he's trying to put in place. He said numerous times that he's leaving it at the state level, and which aligns with the Constitution, which gives the power back to the people. So if you want to be able to delete a baby whenever it is that you want to, then go and vote for your senators, your congress people that's in that state that support it. That's literally what the Constitution is built off of. The same way that they ran off of, this is a democracy, this is a democracy. That is the democracy. So it's mind-blowing that they finessed so many people into thinking one thing when they're going against the very thing that they're trying to say Trump is doing. It's mind-blowing. The other part, if we are so concerned about women's rights, then why are we supporting a group of people that can't tell you what a woman is? These same people put a supreme justice on the board that could not answer what a woman is, and she's a woman, a black woman at that. How can women support people that are okay with women competing in men's sports? How is that not going against women's rights? How can women support people that are okay with men going into women's bathrooms? How can women support men that are allowed to go into women's prisons? How is that not going against women's rights? So the fact that Trump is saying, no, this is not what we're doing, this is wrong, I'm against it. I don't even think he said that flat out up until aside from the focus that that the Democrats are backing children haven't taken puberty blockers. This is literally, like, I don't understand, how is it that women are supporting something that is full-blown confusion? It's full-blown it goes against the very thing that women are saying that they're fighting for across the board. Literally, it's mind-blowing. And the fact that especially black women say that they don't feel protected, and for a black man to say, man, I don't feel comfortable with knowing that my mother, my daughter, my nieces, my grandmother could potentially be in the bathroom and a man will walk in there, and simply because he says that he identifies as a man, he can be in there.
That's one.
It's mind blowing that this is even a conversation.
And I'm not gonna argue with nothing that you just said, Viz. I'm not really too deep. I'm not gonna even get philosophical with politics
But
because
no,
I'm
you
not really
gotta
that
get
much
deep.
informed. I know I do. I'm just saying, as far as going back to the original topic, I still stand on what I stand. If two people just don't align with their views,
I agree with that
just
part.
cut that.
I agree
But
with
as
that
far as
part.
everything that you just said, I'm not well informed, so
But that's the
I
problem,
have no
though.
debate. It definitely is. I have no debate with anything that you said. But as far as the topic goes, if you just don't align with someone and if you just don't have those conversations prior to, then yeah, cut the cord.
So, since 82% of all black men voted for Kamala, out of that 18%, let's say half of that voted for Trump just for the simple fact that they align closer to his policies and the direction in which the country might should be heading, etc. How is it that you all deem that 8% of all black men, 8% of the entire collective don't want a woman? So why are we giving that small minority of men such a high platform to care about their concern, right? If a small percentage of them feel that way and they do not resonate with what the rest are saying, even if the other half who voted in the other direction, you know what I'm saying, didn't vote on that premise, but rather on the policies, and they see what's really happening behind the veil in the direction in which the country is heading, where families are heading, and where there's such a huge divide. They're voting for people to be able to put food on their table and have some sort of future, not only for themselves but also for their kids. So again, why are so many women hung up on a small percentage of men? It's because a lot of them, even if it was 1%, even if it was 1%, let's say 99.9 of them voted, that 1% was still irk ya across the board. And I don't know why. I don't know why that 1%, a few people who feel that way, think that way, whatever their rhetoric is, you were still focused. But yet, I did not hear, not even on this panel, ever any credit or credence given to all those other black men who rallied behind these women and voted for Kamala. You know what I'm saying? I tend to hear more negative connotation behind the men who
But that's
didn't vote
human
for her.
nature in general. People will focus on the problem. That goes back to something we talked about before. Like, let's stop talking about the issue and start talking about solutions. Human nature is to focus on the problem. So, I mean, I hear you, but I don't think that's just a black woman thing. I think that's a human thing for people to complain and point the finger and focus on the problem instead of solutions. But again, that's another example of, stereotyping black women, which I think supports exactly what I'm saying and why black women felt the way they felt, because we just did not feel supported by our black men in a lot of these conversations that were happening.
Okay, but do you also feel that black men were also being heard and also given the opportunity to be heard and be like, okay, it seems based on our polling that a lot of you young black men or black men in general were not able to reach with you. We're not able to connect with you. What is it that we're missing? Where are we not making the mark? Where can we do better? Where are the strides at? What things do you have concerns about? Is it the economy? Is it about family? What is it? And have that dialogue, right? They don't want to have that dialogue because that's a very uncomfortable conversation to have, and especially on live time prime TV. They don't want to do that because unfortunately, what will happen is you will get men like Hink, you might get men like Viz, you might get men like myself, you might get other men who are very intelligent, very intellectual, etc. And they'll get to the root problem. They're like, we haven't addressed these issues. I felt that there was opportunities for them to create programs, or we have to address the inadequacies in certain in certain policies, right? We're happy that our young women are doing well, they're making money, etc. Gun ho. But what about our young boys? I've always said on this panel, I would like to see confident, competent, and well-to-do young black men so they can also find their equal counterpart. And that's why I've said that they've been falling behind further and further these past 20 years, and no one has addressed that or brought that up. So you can't be surprised that the people who have not been given a voice or a platform, who are ignored, go the opposite direction when they've been knocking at your door for the longest time and you won't even let them in.
Luis, I agree that there needs to be more dialogue. I disagree with what you said about Black women don't want to participate in that. We are definitely open to communication.
I
We are
didn't
more likely to,
focus it just Black women. I'm talking
or
about
women
the
in
party
general.
base.
Okay, the party, the Democratic Party. Okay. I think that there was some dialogue missing for sure. I agree with you on that.